All right, and we're off, mate.
How are you, mate? Finally, we made it. Finally, we booked it a few times, didn't we?
Bloor, listen. All I've got to say is this: we're going through crazy times right now.
Yeah.
You know, I just appreciate you coming on board. I'm watching what you're doing online. I've been watching you for a long time. Do you know what I mean?
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Listen, my podcast. It's a shame we couldn't do this face to face, obviously with the lockdown.
We'll get another one in, no doubt. We'll get another one in.
Absolutely. So usually I do a little cheers thing. So you've got a mug there. I'll do a little cheers thing with you. So it's top first.
What are you drinking? Top first.
Top first, and then bottom twice,
Bottom twice.
and then top again. Yeah.
I don't want to spill. I don't want to spill
Yeah,
my coffee
yeah,
on my table. What you got there? You got a tea, coffee, or is it something stronger?
I've got a little Baileys there, son. I've got a little Baileys there.
Good,
It's
mate.
early. I've still got to go on a jog and all that, so I didn't want to go too heavy. But listen, we're gonna go from scratch. We're gonna go through everything that you've done from Wade, from birth, and all the good times, bad times, controversies.
Yeah.
So let's do it, man. Let's go from scratch. Where was you born, Bloor, brother?
So I was born in Whipps Cross, Waltham Forest, Whipps Cross. I'm sure a lot of people from the manor probably know it. Just outside of, what is it? Wanstead, Walthamstow, Leytonstone. East, yeah, East boy. So I grew up in Chingford, which is E4. It's the last East London. It's the last E postcode, the last East London postcode before you get to IG, which is Essex.
I'm in IG, so
yeah. I'm in IG now. Now. But I grew up in Chingford, all up and down Chingford Mount, Station Road, and then I got kicked out of school when I was going to forest school. I got asked to leave my last year, so I went to Rodin, and then that's obviously then I just started knocking around Loughton, Blacksteel, and yeah. That's
let's slow down. Let's slow down. So you is this secondary school you're talking about? Yeah.
Secondary school. So I was always a troublemaker, but not in a bad way. Like I wasn't a bad kid, but I was always cheeky. I was always like challenging the teachers. Like, you got to bear in mind, yeah, this was a private school, isn't it? So a bad kid at a private school is not a bad kid at like a normal school. You know what I mean? Like,
And your parents are probably getting pissed as well. Getting pissed off.
Listen, my mum was always one where if she knew we'd done something wrong, yeah, she was on us about it. But if we looked her in her eye and said, "Listen, mum, I didn't do it. It weren't me," then she'll back us, innit? So.
Yeah, that's like most mums, you know, mate. If the old Bill comes to my door now, my mum will say, "It weren't him." Like,
no, so, mate. If the old Bill comes to the door, she's like, "Yeah, God, you know what I mean? She'll point it to me."
So wait, so your family situation. So do you have brothers, sisters, or?
So I've got one older brother, one younger brother.
Okay.
And my mum and dad. I've got a big family, like loads of cousins. Through my mum and my dad. But my mum and dad aren't together. My dad's remarried. My mum and dad split up when I was it was going on for some time. It was quite a messy thing, but from the age of about 15 to the age of about 20, it was all going on. I went to Spain. I fucked off. I thought, I'm not sticking around for all this shit. So I just went, I want to live in Spain and Portugal for a year.
Right. What age was you at that point? Because my parents aren't together. So what age was you at that point? Did it affect you? Like,
I was 18. Yeah. Do you know what? Like, I've just from so the time now is 12:05. Yeah, we put this in at 12 o'clock. From 10:30 to 11:30 this morning, I was at my third counselling session, Dom.
Right. Okay.
My counselling at the minute. So when I come off TOWIE, yeah, I suffered from like addiction and substance abuse, yeah, because I feel like, and when I used to go to these meetings, I would look around and I'd think, do I really need to be here?
Yeah. Am I like these people?
Yeah, like in a way, and I'm glad that I did go. Like I would advise anyone who's struggling with it, you know, if you don't feel that you've got a good relationship with substances, take yourself to a support group, whether that's a one-on-one counsellor or whether that's a meeting, like an AA meeting or something. And I just definitely advise people to seek help, like if you do need it. But for me, when I come off TV, I was just emotionally unequipped to deal with what I was going through. So I turned to substance abuse, and it wasn't really any one thing in particular. It was more about just being like distracting myself from the shit. So this was like 26, 27 years old. I'm 31 in November now. So this is some time ago. And it's something that I've dealt with. I spent months and months going to these meetings, and it's been a process. I've had people around me, like my girlfriend who's helped me and, you know, been there for me and seen me grow over the past 2 years. But so that was one box that I've kind of ticked. Like you can never really say I'm cured and that's it. Like you have to constantly go back and check yourself and go to the meetings. And, you know, I always say like it's 3 days behind me. So if I have a rough 3 days, it can catch up. So I'm always got to constantly monitor the situation. The counselling that I'm doing now, Dom, is about insecurity. It's about jealousy, things that are probably deep rooted from my childhood, you know.
Okay.
Plenty of families break up, and I'm not saying, this is the thing, like, there's nothing really crazy and dramatic going on. It's just something that I know is blocking my growth and being able to be in a place where I love unconditionally and I allow people to love me. So, you know, I'm very used to pushing people away. So the counselling I'm doing at the minute is talking a lot about, you know, going full circle to what you said about my parents splitting up. The counselling session that I did today, we just started going back into it. One of the things she said to me, Dom, she was like, let's talk about your childhood. Like, what's your earliest memory? I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't really think about my childhood that much. Like, it weren't bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, like we went on holidays. We had a lovely house. It was all nice stuff. But when I think was it good times? Was I a happy person as a child? Like, I don't really think about it. Like, my memories start from about 15 years old when I went to Rodin.
Okay.
I don't really remember that much about Forest. I don't really remember that much about my childhood. Like, I remember odd bits and stuff, but
yeah,
we're going through all of that now and breaking it down now. But how old were your mum and dad when you split up?
So I was actually like about 1, but what they did is they tried to stay together to see me through, right?
Sure.
So they stood by me because I'm an only child, so to try and stand by me to raise me. Do you understand? But then they broke up again when I was 9 or 10. So it's funny you ask because it affected me way further down the line. I'll probably say more towards I'm 29, so I'm nearly 30. More, I would say, in the last few years, it started to affect me where I think about it.
So are you in a relationship?
What was that like for you? Yeah.
Are you in a relationship? Do you have a partner?
I'm single.
Okay. Well, I feel like a single man can hide the flaws because
absolutely
it's only you dealing with the consequences. So you don't have to confront those demons from the past.
That is, that is so true, mate. Honestly,
like I'm lucky enough now, Don, where, you know, I've been with my girlfriend Yasmin for a year now, just over 12 months. It's been on and off. Like, I moved to Spain for 3 months, and we had, like, you know, it's been on and off during that time. We've known each other for 2 years. We've been together for just over 12 months. And I'm lucky enough to have found someone who I just adore. And she's so understanding of the good in me and the bad in me that it allows me to grow. Now, something
podcasting really helps too. Podcasting really helps too.
Yeah, well, it's therapy in a way, isn't it? Doing podcasting.
Absolutely.
It's therapy. So something happened recently. We had a big bust up, and she was asking me to go to counselling at the beginning of the year. Not for any particular reason, just because it's good mental hygiene. Absolutely, you know, we brush our teeth, we wash our bollocks, we go to the gym, we train our bodies. What are we doing to take care of our minds,
mate?
So this is what she was trying to convince me to do. At the beginning of lockdown, I was a bit hesitant towards it, Dom, just because I had other shit to do. I had other stuff I was doing. Yeah,
and had you not been in counselling before that then? Never?
I'd had a therapist through TOWIE, but she was only there just to sign us off. She weren't really that invested in, like, we're all fucking crazy on there. Do you know what I mean? She can't sit down and actually break down all of our issues. So she just
what about Big Brother? Sorry.
Big Brother, there was a pre-show psych evaluation, but not therapy. But anyway, so she was asking me to go. This is something she's done in the past. She was asking me to go, and I pushed it to one side. And it came to the point where, we had a bust up. We had a big bust up about something, and then I was like, right, I can see that if I had been going to counselling, I would have been able to deal with these emotions that I'm feeling now, as opposed to pushing someone away who cares about me, you know, running away from a situation that's good for me. So I'm now in counselling, and I feel amazing for it. And you probably saw on my Instagram the other day, I look quite tired in it because I'd had a bit of a rough week. But I said on my Instagram, I said, don't leave it till it's too late until you get the help that you need, because shit gets real really quick. It can be a difference of 24 hours whether your life's in order or it's falling apart.
Trust me,
so
I know.
Plant the seed of that healing process before you need the shade of the tree, because it doesn't happen in the same day or the same year. You need to do work. So I am in counselling now once a week. I wish I could do more, but I'm busy, and it's fucking, it costs a fair bit. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I can imagine.
I didn't go through NHS. I went private, so it's like it does cost a fair.
Private's the way, man. Private is definitely
NHS is still just as good. NHS is still just as good. I needed to get in that week. I couldn't.
I've done both.
Oh, with you?
Yeah, I've done both. And in my opinion, I thought private was a bit better.
So tell me about your experience with therapy and why, what, you know, vague, not specifically, but for vague reasons, why was you in there? Well,
I've always suffered with depression from a young age, right? But to be honest, when I was young, I just thought, I liked that I felt these deep things because it allowed me to be critical. It allowed me to create music. I loved film. I loved reading. I loved being creative in whatever sense it was, making people laugh, creating stories, whatever it was. It allowed me to actually invest in myself from young. So I used to think I'm a bloke. Like, I shouldn't really be. Why am I feeling low all the time? Why am I down all the time? So I've had therapy for a long time, but there was a point in my life where I actually lost my voice completely. So my vocal cords in my voice. So I did an English degree, so I was working in a very corporate environment, and eventually my actual vocal cords stopped working. So what happened is I had an operation on my vocal cords. I couldn't speak for 9 months, and they told me, you're never going to be able to use your voice for work again, which is why I became a plumber. And in that procedure, they gave me vocal therapy. And I had about 5 to 6 different therapists during the maybe 1.5 to 2 years that I had to retrain my voice, right? Yeah. Now, with the ones that were in the NHS, just from my experience, and don't get me wrong, they still did an amazing job, but each person I had, they felt individually like, this is a job. Whereas when I went private, it was just the service, the way they pretended even better that they cared maybe than the NHS worker. Do you understand?
I think it's obvious, isn't it? Because the NHS and the council and the government, they collect a paycheck whether you're there or not.
Absolutely.
Right? They don't earn any more through giving you a smile and a good job. And this is something that we see in the government with this whole Marcus Rashford thing, with these guys charging £25 a day food allowance, and then they're not allowing kids to have free school lunch for 1 week during half term. It's outrageous. But
it makes no sense, man.
This is the mentality of a lot of government-funded civil servants, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So with
that's not to say everyone. That's not to say like a blanket statement. Like, obviously, there's amazing people, but if you are going to someone for therapy or a specific physio or things like that, like, they don't have to let you in. They don't, they're getting their paychecks at the end of the day either way. Go on. What was you going to say, mate? Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So when you started getting into substance abuse, so you're now a young, good-looking, successful, famous young man. You're young. Like, you're going out, you're raving, women. What is that like? What was that like for you to turn into the drug abuse, and what drugs were you using, etc.?
Well, I feel like it's the same situation, but how you look at the situation changes over that time. Like, first of all, it's exciting. And then by the end of it, it's one-dimensional and it's not fulfilling, and it leaves you feeling empty and things like that.
But why is that? Because I don't know. So why is that?
Okay. So I've always gone out and had fun. Yeah, I'm from East London. You know what I mean? We've always gone out and partied. Smoked joints from a young age, all of that kind of stuff. I'm obviously very into my fitness and my health. That wasn't true when I was like a teenager.
Okay.
But I feel like in London there's a massive drug scene. Like it seems to be that there's not much for the youth to do.
Mate, it's massive.
Apart from go to work, go to the pub and get hammered. And it really upsets me because I feel like having just spent some time in Spain and I was in a town called Grande where there's a lot of schools, there's a lot of like families, and it's like a little port town, got some amazing international schools. And you know, I'd see the young kids running around on the beach at like, even in an evening, like 10 o'clock at night, they'd be running around the little market in the pool. And I just used to think, what was I doing when I was that age? I was standing on a street corner in South Woodford smoking joints. Like there's nothing, there wasn't much else to do. And London has an amazing magical side to it, but it also can be quite dark. And one of the reasons that going out partying, having fun and doing all that kind of shit. Like, first of all, yeah, the kind of girls that you'd attract ain't no good. Some people love it. Like I see a lot of people who were on TV when I was on TV who are still going to like Ocean Beach, Ibiza, you know, which is amazing. It's a great gaff, but
it is
I'm
good.
Thinking,
Yeah.
You're 33, 34 years old. Like you need to be thinking about other things at the minute. I went to Ocean Beach, but I'm just saying like, people sit like there's a couple of people I see on Instagram in the week who seem to be still doing the same thing with the same shit birds that you was knocking about with when we was 23, 24 on reality TV.
Yeah.
Like, it's time to grow up a little bit. But so the women, not that great, just because they're all shit, really. You know what I'm saying? They're all after one thing. They're all pretty shallow. The money comes and goes. You know, there's a good thing to look at money with is that it doesn't matter how much you earn. Doesn't matter how much you earn. What matters is, do you live within your means or not? If you don't live within your means, it doesn't matter. If you're earning 100 grand a month and you're spending 110, you're skinned. So it doesn't matter how much.
Yeah. That's true. I've never thought of it in that sense.
So you've got to think of it like a ship keeping water out. You know, you can keep all the water out, but if there's a hole in the boat and you've got water flooding in, it will sink. Do you know what I mean? So
no, absolutely.
It's the same with finances. So I was spending money like quite well.
What was you spending your money on, honestly?
Just holidays, you know, dates, things like that. Like
clothes.
Just enjoying. Yeah, I mean, I've never really been one into like designer labels and things like that. Like I've never been one into logos, like wearing all these D squared t-shirts and shit. I just think like, 300 quid on a t-shirt. I think you need to get a life. Like, anyway, so there was a good time. Don't get me wrong. There was a good time. Now, my problems came from being on TOWIE, and it came directly from being around people that I didn't particularly like.
Okay.
They brought, and it's not their fault, but being around them brought out a side of me which I didn't like in myself.
Okay. And you had to see it everywhere.
Yeah, and then like have people judge me on actions that I was putting out towards people I didn't like. I was like, I don't like these people. Why are you?
And that action was a moment in time, but for them, they could still watch it now.
Yeah, it taught me a lot about the general public as well, and how they perceive things to be gospel. And it's a shame. England has a very warped culture. England has a very warped culture. England's culture is work, pub, and reality TV. Unfortunately, that is the truth for 90% of people. Work, pub, or work, home, bottle of wine, takeaway, and watch reality TV, whether that be Big Brother, whether that be The Jungle, whether that be TOWIE, whether that be Housewives of Cheshire. And don't get me wrong, yeah, I'm not here to say that, to judge anyone and say that anything's bad, but what I learned from it, what I saw go on behind the scenes, and how different people's lives are behind the scenes to what they're putting out on TV. People look at it like it's gospel. And I think, pick up a book, go for a walk, go to another country, do anything, but just hand over your free time. You know, you're in an office for 8 hours a day, you're scrubbing toilets, you're cleaning, you're working 8 hours a day, and you come home and you give an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to catching up on reality TV and then sitting there scrolling through social media. And
it's just not good for your mind, man, at all.
No, I'm not surprised that I went into this dark place where the only thing that I could do to keep my mind distracted was to do drugs and was to go out and party and do this stuff. What I've realized is that sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, actually, you're doing wrong. But other times you have to look at the situation around you and say, you know, am I in the right arena? Am I in the right place? Do I need to move from where I am before I look at myself and say, you know, your actions are wrong, and you know, you need serious help. Like, so.
But what were, and I'm only digging deep into this because
no, please do.
It is a massive epidemic in this country when it comes to cocaine. So, what was your drugs of choice, and how did they develop, and so on?
Yeah, no, I'm not going into that. That is too much information. But
okay,
for me, it wasn't. And the only reason I'm saying that is because it wasn't anything in particular. I've never done hard drugs, crack, heroin. Never had any interest in it. It's not.
Yeah, to me neither. Never.
To me, that's not a recreational drug. Like, a recreational drug is something you do for fun. For me, there's been a massive line, and I've always just been like, no, that's it. So yeah, like the odd bit of coke, like smoking joints and things like that. And boozing and having a drink and having a good time, but it doesn't make me happy. It was a rational reaction. What does Russell Brand say? He says drugs are a rational reaction to an irrational society, because it's all fucking bollocks. It's all nonsense. So
that was a great way to describe it, man. Very, because there are people struggling that you wouldn't believe, like everywhere. People you wouldn't believe, women you wouldn't believe, mums, nans, little kids. So the reason I wanted to dig into that is people feel like they are judged, I guess, in terms of what drug they take. But don't get it twisted. You could be sitting next to someone you wouldn't believe has a mad problem, that are by themselves, sniffing themselves to oblivion, to the minute they have to wake up for work. They're at work still buzzing. They're in work buzzing. So, you know, it's just good to be able to sort of help people with these platforms when it comes to this.
It's important to understand there's two types of addicts. Yeah, there's two types. There's two types of addiction that can affect you in a bad way. Now, you can get addicted to the gym. You can get addicted to eating healthy. These things are positive things.
Which are great addictions.
Addiction is passion for something damaging for you, basically. Okay.
So say again. So passion for something damaging for you.
Yeah, addiction. You would give addiction a negative connotation to the word. You say the word addiction, and it has a negative connotation towards it. So if you're passionate about something, if you're passionate about eating healthy, if you're passionate about going to the gym, that is an addiction, but it's a positive addiction. So we look at addiction in a negative way. Okay. So addiction for me, I wasn't addicted to the substances. I was addicted to the distraction that it gave my mind from the shit I was dealing with. I didn't care for the drugs. I cared for the freedom from thoughts. That's what it gave to me. You understand? Now, there's two types of addicts there's two types of addicts in this world. You have a functioning addict, someone who will wake up and drink a bottle of whiskey on the way to work, or sniff, as you said, sit up all night sniffing cocaine, or sniff coke the night before, go to bed, wake up next day, carry on doing it on site. Things like that. Yeah. That's called a functioning addict. That's not what I was. I was, and how would you say it? I was an addict that had an allergy. So, I'm a very sensible guy. I'll be very eloquent. I'll be very well spoken. I'll have, intelligent conversations, and we can discuss, we can discuss detailed concepts about life. However, when I have a drink or when I go out,
that changes.
There is an allergic reaction which makes me a nutcase.
I'm the same. Yeah.
I see friends of mine who have the same thing, and I can see it. Like they've got it written on their forehead. However, because they don't understand the difference between an allergic reaction addict and a functioning addict, they go, I don't need it, I'll take it or leave it. Listen, if you're going out and every time you're going out, your life is falling apart, you need to get yourself in front of someone and have a chat.
I'm telling you, I have been there, man.
So many people have the same thing, and it's like, for me, right? So this is one thing that I struggled with, Dom, because I'd sit in these rooms, and I'd be sitting next to people who've been molested by their brothers, molested by their parents their whole lives, and people would say to me, my mates would say to me, what are you going to these meetings for? Why you don't need them? Why are you going there for? And the only reason that anyone should ever go to a meeting is if you think you can do better than what you are currently doing. It doesn't matter whether you've been touched as a kid, doesn't matter whether you're just in a slightly bad place and you're boozing too much, yeah? Doesn't matter. if you believe that you have more to give than what you're currently offering to the world and the people around you, go to the meeting, get the help. You know, be of service to the people around you. I was very, very selfish, incredibly selfish as a young man. I, you know, had a God complex, thought I was fucking shit hot, you know? And do you know what? I'm very honest about it. You'll speak to a lot of people who won't put this stuff forward, you know?
They won't. And people have got you very, very wrong, Bloor. I have to say, man.
Yeah, no, but that's, you know, it depends how
even
far
just having this conversation with you now, I'm actually a bit like taken aback and proud to be being taught and spoken to like this.
Thank you.
Because it's affected me with even the things you're saying. And why is it people have such a bad version of you then at that time?
I'll tell you.
Go on.
So all of this knowledge, all of this knowledge has been learned. This wasn't genetically imprinted in me.
Okay.
This knowledge, Dom, comes from point A, making a mistake, being a prick. Point B, accepting that I have work to do on myself. To point C, which is learning the lessons. So every opinion people have of me, you was probably right 5 years ago. You was probably correct about me. But people change, people grow if they want to. Now, I often held the same opinions that people would have of me. And when I started to look at myself and go, geez, that wasn't cool, man. Like that's not you. Like you know, you look at the world in a better way. You love better than this. Why are you back? So that was a turning point for me where I was like, maybe this world is twisting you up a little bit. Maybe you need to put the brakes on and go and get that help. But anyway, it's all about the lessons, brother. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here
yeah,
for,
man. Well, can I ask you as well, like,
of course,
how did you deal with at the time? So when you was in Big Brother,
yes.
So now you're sort of going through the reality TV motions. You're going on interviews on different platforms and so on. Now you're in Big Brother, and you're dealing with someone like Heavy D at the time. How are you dealing with that and knowing that all these cameras are around you? How are you dealing with that?
The thing is, Heavy D obviously thought I was a bit wet. He thought I was a bit wet because I got banged out by Elliot in that last fight that I had before, yeah?
Oh, so okay, yeah.
So Heavy D obviously thought I was a little bit wet. Like he must have thought, because I'd had that fight with Elliot and Elliot dropped me in the first round, he must have thought, like, I don't know, but he obviously thought he could take me. He must have thought he was solid. So
okay.
Heavy D was just in there to wind people up. Like, I look at him, man. Do you know what? He still calls me out for a fight today. Like,
it's sad, mate.
But
in my opinion,
I feel really, really sorry for him because he has nothing going on except the attention of strangers. You know, he thrives off of the attention of strangers. And actually, after being roped into this fight with Heavy D, I looked at both of our names on the card, Lewis Bloor v Heavy D. And I thought, what am I doing?
Yeah, what am I doing?
Why am I fighting this mess? Like, it's not about being arrogant and, oh, I'm better than you, but I was like, am I better than this? Am I better than this?
Yeah. This situation, yeah.
Am I better than arguing with this 40-year-old man who's not all there in the head
Definitely.
and wants to just be horrible to people all the time? I was like, this is just not for me. Like, so anyway, so since then I've been a lot quieter. Like, E4 come to me about doing Celebs Go Dating. I had MTV come to me, or it's WizKid, who's the production company. They come to me about doing MTV X on the beach. And I was just like, oh, do you know what? Listen, I gave them a figure. I said, listen, I'm not doing this for shits and giggles. Yeah, if I'm doing this, you're gonna have to pay me what's due.
Absolutely.
So I gave them my figure, and they were like, all they say is, oh no, come on, you'll get good press, you'll get this and that out of it. Like, all TV companies just want people to work for cheap so that they can make their money from their advertising, make millions from their advertising, and then you might get the odd person like Joey Essex, who's what a lovely guy Joey is.
Absolutely lovely,
who does really, really well. And me and Joey get on well. We're always very respectful, always been really nice to each other. It's taken quite a while to build up our relationship. My mum works in Sheesh. Joey's lovely to her. So you get the odd person like Joey who will do really well, who the public will love, and Joey could bring out a fucking male bra and people would buy it. Do you know what I mean? But they don't pay.
That is very true, man. That's very true.
So so I got offered these next shows, and I was like, that's it for me. Like, I've got other things I'm working on at the minute, and I've got some quite good projects that I'm working on, which I'll be keen to talk about when we get around to it. But
Yeah.
Big Brother was amazing, right, Dom? I'll tell you why. No producers. Producers, let me tell you now, yeah, if your kid is going to go and be a TV producer on reality TV, sit down and have a serious chat with them, because they are the ones who make all these reality stars kill themselves.
Yes.
All that shit. It's the producers.
Yes.
Because the producers are paid handsomely to twist up the reality people and
Exactly.
get them doing things. Look, listen, we'll be at filming. They'd go, right, we're here till 4 a.m. It'd be 8 o'clock at night. We're here till 4 a.m. If you give us some drama, we'll let you go at midnight. That's what they'd say.
Right.
You're getting paid £100, £150 a day.
So then what's that like then? When someone's saying, make some drama happen, what are people doing?
You'd have people, yeah, the producers are there to get on your side. So this is how it'll work. I'll break it down for you. Let's say you've got 30 cast members. You'll have 6 CLTs, cast liaison team. Each of those members of the CLT, the cast liaison team, will have 4 or 5 cast members that their job is to become best friends with them. To the end that any information that they hand over can be used to create a comic book strip. So the information will go back to the office. They would line up the week's filming ahead, and you might have said something on Thursday, but you're going to film it on Tuesday now. So they will gather the information, they will line up the scenes, they'll organise who's going to be where. What you say is up to you, yeah? But they will organise who's going to be, they don't just follow you around with cameras. So you'll get a call time, 11 o'clock at night, you need to be at the King's Head in High Beach. You don't know who you're filming with. You turn up there, it'd be me and my pal, my ex-bird and a new boyfriend walks up. Something like that, for example.
Yeah.
But he might have said something about me and told the cast liaison team, and then he might have changed his mind, but then he'll still have to say it a week later. I've got the ticket stuck there. So do you see how it works? Yeah, you have the cast liaison team feeding the information back. And honestly, like, it was horrible. TOWIE, I absolutely hated every minute of it. There were great things that I loved that you got because of being on TV, attention.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Other jobs, exciting things to do, but actual filming and everything to do with it, I hated.
Is it quite stressful?
Geeks, stressful's not the word, mate. It turned me into fucking mate. You know what I mean? Listen, I like to think I'm quite a sensible guy. Like, I'm quite a straight up guy. I'm definitely switched on, and I understand. I'm quite self-aware, mate. That pushed
very
me to
self-aware, yeah.
Pushed me to the point where I was completely depressed and started abusing drugs. Only because of TOWIE. Like, that's it. It's only because of TOWIE. Big Brother, on the other hand, was sick. Big Brother, on the other hand, was so good because I
think you came across very well on there, by the way.
Thank you, mate.
Way better than TOWIE.
Well, this is it. I was left to my own devices, mate. I was left to just be me. Like, I was a bit soppy. Obviously, I was trying to graft money. You know what I mean? I was a bit soppy, wasn't I? But listen, that's the game, isn't it? But
before you continue,
I need to play a boy. I'm joking. But,
before you continue,
but
what happened with the money situation?
Fucking old news, man. Everyone's been over that, done that to death. I got a new bird now. I'm not talking about that shit.
All right, then. Okay.
So, but Big Brother was amazing. There was no producers in there. We got to do whatever we wanted to do. Like, and I was just me. I was just having fun in there. I was seeing someone in there at the same time, so that made it better. But Heavy D's just a massive prick, mate, and he always will be. You know what I mean? He knows. I think. Do you know why I know he's a prick? Yeah. Do you know why I know he's a proper prick? After I weighed him in, yeah. After I banged him out, I went up to him after. I went boom, yeah. Like, I went up to him after, and I went, "We cool, yeah?" I said, "Are we done?" I said, "You was calling me out for this fight. I didn't want it with you. You've been nothing but horrible to me the whole time. You're horrible to Marnie. You're horrible to me. You got what you wanted. Are we done?" He looked up to me, his face all busted up. He was like, yeah, no, we're done. My mum went over to him and went, you know, "Well done, Heavy D, like, fair play for
tried your best, yeah."
He went, you know what I mean? Like, we was sweet. I squashed it, mate. Listen, a week later, he's calling me out. He's putting all things in OK Magazine, saying I had professional help and all this. Mate, honestly, I was in a bad way when I fought Heavy D. I was nowhere near my fittest, and I was training for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? He was training for however long. I took 3 weeks training, and I got in the ring and like, my only difference in my game strategy was I backed up. I was on the back foot a little bit more because with Elliot, I walked in, crack, and I was out. So this time I was on the back foot a lot more, and he doesn't really touch me. But he's a mess. I should have beaten him up, obviously, of course. But I said to him after, I was like, "Are we done?" He went, "Yeah, we're done." And then a week later, he's still calling me out. So I just thought, I blocked him on everything. Then I just thought you waste of space, mate.
Yeah, I think, listen, like, I just think it's a big testimony to you as a person and like watching your growth. Because me, listen, obviously we know certain people around each other. Like big up George Taylor. He's my very, very, very close friend.
Lions Prep,
yeah, Lions Prep. He's
so
on.
So do you know? Yeah, listen, I don't know if George told you this story, but I came up with a name, the Lions Prep.
What?
Yeah, do you not told
no,
you?
No, he's not said that. Mate, we did a podcast together. Have you watched it?
No, I watched it.
Yeah. We did a podcast together as well on this channel. So after this, go and watch it.
He wanted to call it. He wanted to call it the Lions Share. He wanted to call it the Lions Share Meal Prep Company.
Okay.
So call it the Lions Prep, and he did.
Yeah. He's called it the Lions Prep. I'm so proud of him, man. I'm so proud. And you remind me of him and my other best friend Dan, who's his older brother. You remind me of him so much, and George. So it's like I'm speaking to George sometimes.
Me and George are very, very close. We had at points a toxic relationship years ago. You know, we was thick as thieves, mate. Me and George. We was sometimes getting a bit too carried away with things, and we had to have a bit of distance from each other in order to grow into the next chapters of our lives, going from young men to being adults. And I'm actually training with George at 2 o'clock in Vicky Park. And I'll send your regards. But yeah, we see each other, whereas before we'd see each other going out, we only see each other now, Dom.
When you're training.
Only ever. We only train with each other.
And listen, I just got to clap you both, man. And obviously to you, Bloor, like what you're pushing out there on you've got a big platform. You've got a big platform on your Instagram.
You know what though?
Page,
I don't know what it is, yeah, but I've got all the followers on Insta, but mate, like Insta's cracking out, mate. Like I on my videos, my stories, maximum 2,000 people see my stories I put up. It's mental, mate.
Oh,
like,
that's such a small number, yeah. I get about 500, 600.
You've got 320,000 followers, and 2,000 of them are seeing your stories. That's less than 1%.
Yeah, but I think Instagram's turned into a bloody advert. That's why. Mate, people just don't want to. People don't want to invest their time in it too much anymore. They don't want to look through people's stories.
I think for promoting business, because you know what's happened, yeah? Facebook have bought WhatsApp, they've bought Instagram, and obviously they own Facebook. Now, what happens is they collect your data from your WhatsApp conversations, from what Instagram posts you spend most time looking at,
your Twitter, everything.
They sell that information to Google and things like that in order to advertise to you more effectively. So it's crazy out there right now, Keith.
Yeah, and especially for someone like you with a big name, Bloor. So look, lastly, again, thank you so much for coming on. We're just touching an hour. So is there anything lastly that you'd like to just put out there?
Right, yeah. So,
in this conversation.
It's 2022, so we've got a little bit of time. I'm happy to go on as long as you want. So, a couple of things that I'm working on at the minute.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I'm offering free online training through my main page at Lewis Bloor 1 on Instagram currently.
Wicked.
3 full body sessions a week at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays.
Okay.
Just join the lives. I'll put a schedule up every Sunday. And my friend Nadia, who's an amazing yoga instructor, she lives in...
Oh, yeah, I've watched some as well.
Yeah, so I do 50 minutes full body at 8 o'clock. We take a 10-minute break. She comes on at 9 a.m. to do a 30-minute yoga. And I've been doing it throughout lockdown, and I feel sharp, I feel good. I've not been as on top of like my diet plan and things like that through lockdown, but... Okay. I'm still training. I'm not.
It's hard, mate. It's hard.
Sitting there doing drugs all day, every day. So you've got to draw the comparisons, right? So we're training every single day. We're training Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We do a challenge on a Sunday. I'm also working on a project at the moment, Dom, which should be released by spring next year. It's an app that I've been developing.
Wicked. Yeah.
Now, for any personal trainers out there that are interested in something which might change the face of client to PT relationships, hit me up, jump on my Instagram, drop me a message. We're going to be looking for volunteers who want to come and test our app over the course of about a month. It might be paid, it might not, depending at the moment. But it's something that's going to allow people to, for example, if you're in London for an afternoon, you've got an hour spare, you want to book a boxing coach in Regent's Park, you're going to be able to go on your phone and do it straight away. There's no apps currently that offer this service. So I've been working with a team, an Australian team called Hyper. Shout out to Tom West and Jesse Sykes. They have been helping me develop and produce this app. At the moment, we've completed our design phase. We're just finishing up the business plan, and we're about to start going into focus groups, which will be about 15, 20 PTs. We're going to question. We know where the app does work. What we're looking for from these focus groups is to figure out where the app doesn't work and where we can improve it.
Have you always been entrepreneurial? Have you been in sales ever or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Does it sound good?
No, the reason is it's just great to see, because there's a lot of people maybe in your boat that have been on reality TV and they are literally just trying to sink or swim off of being on that show, but they don't realize how quick that dies. And just to see you grinding for however long, and I'll be honest, I've got you very wrong before this conversation.
Yeah.
And this is why I love doing podcasts with people, because I get to get really deep with people and actually speak with them on a level. Yeah. Do you understand? Like, maybe if you met me in a pub, you might think you might think I'm a wanker, for you know.
No, if I met you in a pub, you'd think, and I was drinking, and you'd think you wouldn't have had the same Lewis sitting in front of you. You wouldn't have the same
exactly.
So no, I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'll be honest, that's something I've had my whole life, because I have this allergic thing happen to me when I do. In Britain, when you're socialising, you usually have alcohol in your hand, whether you're at a pub, whether you're at your mate's house.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So like when you're socialising with people, you are mainly drinking and getting on it and doing all that shit. So I value my relationship with my partner so much, because we spend time together sober. We do not go out getting fucked up together. We have so much fun together, just being sober. We drove back through Spain and France. I was living out there for a few months. She come out, we drove back. We stopped in Bordeaux. We had dinner. We was in Bordeaux for 2 nights. We had dinner. She had a glass of wine. I didn't. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
Find the people that you can be around sober. They're the keys.
No, that is the big truth, because look, I like to go out and have a drink with people. I feel with certain people, it does soften the blow in social interactions with certain people. Well, I can do that sober, drunk, whatever it is. But I like that we have to explain to people that just because it's legal and it's alcohol, they get this mad thing in their head. It's like my mum, for example. She'll be like, but alcohol's fine. No, but weed's not, and this is not. And I'm going, Mum, it's all the same shit.
Or it's anything that
it's like, not worse.
Like I can only speak for myself. I cannot speak for anyone else. But I get massive anxiety when I go out to pubs, when I go out to clubs and things like that. I get huge anxiety, and that's one of the reasons that I will drink and get fucked up, because I don't like those social. I don't like being around loads of people.
Okay.
I much prefer one-on-one conversations and talking about, interesting concepts and things like that. That for me is fun. Whereas going out and getting nutted, like I've done it so many times, I find it so fucking boring.
Yeah. You do. I think you grow out of it eventually.
You do. You do. So obviously at the minute, I'm just really cherishing my relationship with my girlfriend. I'm trying to grow that, and hopefully in a year, 2 years, we'll be, I'll be able to call her more than my girlfriend, hopefully.
God willing, because this world is fucking crazy. So that would be amazing if you two could progress, if you know what I mean.
So I'm just cherishing this point in my life where I'm about to, like, I've got work to do, I've got inner healing to do. We call it deep work, when you have to do the deep work, because it takes time. You can't have any distractions. If you're going to do internal work, this is not something you stop off and pop in for 5 minutes. You need to go to counselling once a week. You need to write your emotions down on paper. You need to figure out what the fuck is holding you back in life. That's the only reason I do this stuff, Dom. It's for selfish reasons, because I want to progress. I want to serve the people around me better. I want to be a better person. And you just got to figure out what the fuck is holding you back in life and deal with it, and then progress and move forward. So
absolutely, man.
I'm just cherishing being in that place where I'm aware of my faults. Like, I'm aware that I'm not perfect. I'm aware that I'm so much better as a person than I was, but I'm still not perfect. I'm still trying to grow. And once you get used to that process, it's fun. It becomes fun, because
I completely agree, bro, because I've always tried to be very deep talking to people. If you know me, speak to George, anyone, they'll tell you I'm a people person. I always have been. My flaws are that I'm a people pleaser. I'm trying to work on that and trying to get better with that. And I also got to deal with my own demons myself. Yeah. However, this podcast has changed my life beyond belief in the last 5 months. To be able to speak to certain people, to be able to connect with certain people and have these deep conversations with people. It's just an excuse for me to actually sit down and sometimes have a pint and a drink with people I've always wanted to speak to. So again, I'll thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and actually give some insight into the way your mind works. Do you understand?
Thank you very much. Well, it's you've caught me in a good place at the minute, and it's not always smooth sailing. It's not always clear, profound pearls of wisdom. Sometimes I'm very confused and very jumbled up. But you know, I'm just trying to progress. I'm trying to grow. I've got to say, I love what you're doing.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Podcast is something that will bring huge value to you. Hopefully it works out monetarily. Hopefully it works out fiscally. But even just
starting.
Well, even just being able to share an honest hour. I mean, this is all the support group is. You share an honest hour. Now, obviously, when you're doing podcasts, you can't go into every nitty gritty detail.
Yeah.
As long as you have people that are willing to speak honestly, you will get immense value from it. And I'm you know, I support you fully in what you're doing. I'd love to come back on. Hopefully I'll be able to come back on in the new year when we've got some more progression with the app. And it would be lovely. What would be really nice is to, now we've had the conversation about mental health and struggles and dealing with, you know, the only way is Essex or whatever happens to be your past trauma. You know, now we've had that conversation. What would be really fucking cool is to then show people that actually, if you do the work, if you go to the support groups, if you get the help that you need, that, and you know, if this company launches next year and we get investment and we, you know, start this amazing company that helps people, you know, it will show people that there is more life out there, you know.
Absolutely.
So fingers crossed, brother. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, Bloor, mate, complete love for showing the support and coming on here today. I hope you have a good rest of your day. This is going to be uploaded onto my channel, but you'll get it before it goes out if you want anything taken out and stuff and so on and so forth.
Absolutely fine.
So I'm going to get this over to my cameraman and he's going to do it all for us, and we'll probably get it out not next week, the week after.
Mate, anything you need from me, let me know. Really good to speak to you. And hopefully, maybe me and George will come on and do a little double one soon, all right?
Yeah. Actually, that would be really good, man. That would be really good, boy. But keep it up, man. And to your family, I hope they're all healthy and your missus as well, brother.
Everyone's safe and well. And same to you, Dom, bro. I'll see you soon, mate. Big love.
Wicked, bro. Take care, man.
See you later, mate. Bye-bye. Later.